2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us. Is validating your partner's feelings really that important? Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin. Howdy, Tyler.
What's going on, Brannon?
Not much. Just doing my thing. We're getting our YouTubes going in the background. You can hear us like piping in.
Well, it's because there's that little bit of a delay. So it's actually loading on my screen.
I know it does the same thing to me. We got to work out the glitch, I guess. But I want to share a review. If I can start by sharing a review,
that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. So it says, great insight. And it says these counselors know their stuff. They see things that that other counselors miss. They have emotional intuition and deep perception into all human interactions.
That's awesome. I think you may have read that one before, but it's always nice to hear it again.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, because I was talking to you about the term counselors, when it's counselors or counselors with quotes around it. And,
that's right.
Counselors with quotes around it means you're gonna get teed off on.
I liked that one that much that I had to go with it again. So really kind words. So I like hearing them twice.
Yeah.
So anyways,
just a real quick reminder, shout out to anyone who would like to come on the show and talk with us. Therapybrothers.org. That's the place to go. Click submit a question or sign up to come on the show, and then you can just schedule the call. And we record.
It's pretty seamless, pretty automatic. Seamless. Coming on the show is pretty easy, and we'll talk about anything. So we would love good guests to sign up. So
yeah, and good morning to you, Jerry, too. Glad you're here with us, man.
Yeah. All right. So Tyler, I have a theory.
Hey, Brannon, before you do this, you on the last episode invited somebody to be our 500th subscriber, and we're at 502 now.
Hey, what do you know? Dang. We surpassed, well, like I said, we needed 502 because we've subscribed twice.
Yeah, so now that takes us off. So we actually have a legitimate 500.
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You probably should start like notching off all of our family and friends too. So we probably still need a few more.
Let's hit 1,000 fast. Let's double this up. So go over to YouTube, watch us on YouTube, comment, tell us good morning. We love having you live. So, all right. You ready for my theory?
Yeah.
All right. My theory is this. My theory is that um, we as human beings can alleviate most of our suffering through validation. So let me explain. If I start an argument with someone, or I have conflict, or there's discord, and that someone, before they fight back, before they argue back, they listen and they validate me, the conflict and the discord usually subsides. Not always, but usually. If I have um, parts inside of me that are telling me to do things like shame screen and run away from fear and fight against it, if I can stop and validate myself and acknowledge why I feel the way I feel and tell myself that I'm not crazy and that it's okay that I feel that way, then I will no longer do those things that it actually gives me the power to choose whether I want to do those things that are hurting me or not, because I can now unburden those parts inside of myself through validation and then be able to have the power to move forward. So both in relationship and in relationship with self, validation is the key to stop and regain your power and then act effectively. What do you think of my theory?
So, okay, so I'm having this thought go through my mind as you're talking, Brannon. Like, people come into our office all the time, and one of the biggest questions that, or one of the biggest struggles that, let's say, a couple comes in with, aside from like the presenting problem, which might be betrayal or some kind of trauma or some kind of distrust or something, but most often people come to marriage or relationship therapy, and the phrase they use is, "We just need better communication skills."
Okay.
And they come in thinking that communication skills are going to be things like, I need to learn the right phrases to say, or I need to learn the right ways to
I
stick up for
statements, not you
myself.
statements.
I need to learn how to articulate myself more clearly. And the truth is that most people who come into our office actually are communicating quite clearly with each other. They just don't understand that they're missing some key components.
Well, yeah, it's interesting you bring this up, Tyler, because we're kind of surface level, where it's like, I need communication skills so that we can work effectively to get the outcomes that we want. And that's not what relationships are about. Relationships are about feeling loved and wanting to know that you're seen, that you're important, that you're understood.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily about the outcome. It's about knowing that somebody will hold space for me in this world and care about me and see me and know me.
I think that's where it breaks down a lot, Brandon, is that people, because we're all this way, it's a human kind of tendency, but we're all kind of so egocentric about the way we navigate the world that when we come and say, I want to learn communication skills, what we're saying is, I want to learn how to share my feelings so that other people hear me better. When in reality,
Yeah.
what you're saying, I think, is that one of the biggest secrets to a happy relationship, and to a relationship where even if you disagree with somebody, there can actually be some kind of respect, some kind of like connection, some kind of safety. The people who master the skill of learning how to validate actually master the skills of what you might call communication.
Yes. Yes. That is the key skill, is learning how to validate. Because if you can do that, then you can communicate through anything. So why is it so hard? And I think you just kind of touched on it, like we're egocentric. But why is it so hard to extend validation, both to others and to yourself?
I think it goes back to kind of what we're talking about, Brannon, is that those other parts of us, that get activated when we're talking with somebody. We as human beings have it hardwired into us to want to not be rejected, to not want to be alone. That's the source of where all shame really comes from, is this fear that something about me makes me rejectable. So then if I come into a situation and I start sharing something that feels vulnerable, it doesn't even matter how I'm sharing it. I might be sharing it in a total shame screen kind of a way, but it's coming from a place of vulnerability. if the person that I'm talking to is like not acknowledging my existence of being and what I'm feeling, then I'm naturally going to have those parts of me that are already activated get bigger and stronger. And that's going to take me out of my ability to stop, pause, and look at it outwardly into the, putting myself in the shoes of the other person, because I'm going to be in such a protective state that, shame itself unravels the ability to validate.
Yeah. If deep down I don't feel like I'm lovable, don't feel like I'm good enough, don't feel like I'm smart or good, attractive or whatever, all of that stuff, and I come across another person, if I have void there, then I'm going to try to use them to fill the void and to make up for that stuff. And when I go to try to use them to fill the void, and they at times reflect back to me, hey, I feel pain, anger, sadness, fear, disappointment about some things that you do. It triggers that shame, and then it leads to me. And this is what so many people, if they could understand this thing, in that moment, I have to disconnect from them to protect myself. And the other person feels that. So when I go into telling them why they're wrong, or fix it mode, or shutting down, or stonewalling, or whatever it is, when I go into any of those things, what I'm doing is not wanting to validate how they see the world, not wanting to feel it with them, because I just need to make sure that I'm okay. And so the key to it, Tyler, is, Don Miguel Ruiz, one of the 4 agreements is don't take things personal. In our relationships, if we can get to a point where you, the other person, holds no weight at all about my worth and about who I am, if you hold no weight, Tyler, then you can say anything to me.
You're a jackass, Brannon.
Yeah, that's okay. And I would say, whoa, tell me what you're feeling. Let's role play this for a second. But like, let's get to a role play. But like, in our offices, Tyler, people come in and they're like, I am hurt because you betrayed me. Like, you're the worst partner ever. Okay. Or they come in the office and they're like, God, they just won't do the dishes. Like, it's so obnoxious. And so whether it's something big, whether it's something small, in that moment, if they're saying they won't do the dishes, or I'm hurt because you cheated on me, the partner sitting over here can be like, well, yeah, I'm a piece of crap spouse. So like, you bringing up the dishes, like, well, what about all the times you didn't do the dishes? They disconnect. Or I'm hurt because you cheated on me. Yeah, I'm the worst. I can never fix this. Again, disconnecting. Validation looks like what, Tyler?
Yeah. Well, I wonder, not even just validation, but let's go back to not taking it personal for a second.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a story, Brandon. We may have shared this before or not, but we used
your little grin's making me nervous. You never know what you're.
This is actually an example. This is actually an example of you not taking something personally.
Oh no. Okay.
When I tried to make it personal.
Okay.
So, we used to mow lawns for a living through college. Like, we had a little lawn care business. We did a bunch of like accounts, and that's kind of how we made our money to pay for college, right? And I remember one day in particular, I might have been on the same day. Maybe I'm running 2 or 3 days together, but you remember that we had a lawnmower one day about halfway through the day, the front wheel fell off.
Yeah.
And I was just pissed.
Well, it was like our third breakdown of the day.
Yeah, things were breaking down.
We were strapped for money.
We were just barely strapped for money. We're like, we can't go buy another lawnmower. We can't so I'm literally mowing a lawn, trying to balance it on 3 wheels, like trying to finish doing this lawn. So I'm already
it actually looked pretty good though. It was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah,
what you pulled off.
It was great, man. Like the quality was there, but it was just way more extra work. And it was like, I feel like I just got kicked in the gut. Like, here I am trying to earn a living, like do it the right way, work hard, and nothing's going right. Well, I think it was towards the end of the day. We kind of had a rhythm, and we had me and you and one of our cousins working with us. And we'd have a rhythm where two guys would mow, one guy would trim, and then whoever got done with their section first would blow the whole thing off. And we had a few sodas in the car that we were like saving for like the last lawn of the day. We get to the last lawn of the day, and our cousin gets done with his part, but doesn't grab the blower and just jumps in the van. And then you jump in the van, and then I have to blow the thing off. And while I'm blowing the thing off, you guys drank my last soda. Like you drank, and you were like laughing about it, thinking you're so funny. And I get done, and I'm already just totally ticked off. I like that you can laugh about this now again too. Like you guys, I could see the grins on your face as I was getting back.
You gave us exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, and then I go and I reach for the soda, and it's gone, and I just lost it on you. Like, you mother effers! Like, not only do you not even do your part of the work, but now you're drinking the soda. Like, F you guys! I'm just going off, right? And if you were taking that personally, you would have been either like way, way defensive and been like, get off your high horse, or you would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, I suck so bad. But instead, both of you guys just kind of like sat there with these smiles on your face, like just let him go till the steam clears off. Then the steam cleared off, and then we finally calmed down and was like, all right, let's go home. We'll try again tomorrow.
I dropped you off at the next lawn, and then I went to the gas station and bought you a soda.
I remember that you dropped me off at the next lawn, and
I was like,
disappeared.
I'll be right back. And I got you a soda.
I was pissed at you too, because you left me to do that lawn by myself, and then you came back with the soda, like some like token of like peace or something. So
I remember it was root beer.
It was. I think it was Shasta root beer. So. But the key here is like you didn't take that personally. Now we can. That was a big detour. I just had to get that story out of my head. But coming back now to like this principle of like validation, why it's so important is that I think sometimes if we were to pause and look at like why do we communicate with other people, most of us have the same goal, and the same goal is to be seen and known and valued. And when we take whatever is coming to us and we go into ourselves and then let those parts of us start to defend ourselves, our responses naturally invite more of what we don't want. Whereas if we were able to pause and go, okay, I need to really be curious with what this person's saying. I need to not take it personally. I really need to try to show that I understand them. In some ways, all of those three things that you can do are actually just helping you get more of what you want, because you're more likely to have an engaged person coming back now that they've been understood, now that they've been seen. They want to engage with you and offer the same things back.
This sounds great, Tyler. It's wonderful, but like it's not that easy. If we were in a situation where or like, especially with a marriage, because there's so much at stake within marriage. And let's say your partner is saying, you suck. You're the worst. You fail me. You don't give me what I want in life. It's miserable me being married to you. So I'm supposed to not take that personal. I'm supposed to like take a step back and be like, oh, okay. Like here's a root beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what your overall goals are. So if the overall goal is actual connection, now this is the tricky part, is if my partner's saying all of those things to me, I don't necessarily agree with all of those things, but I can still respond back to my partner in a way that shows validation and understanding. If I can get connected to what the emotion and experience is of my partner, rather than needing to agree with all of the details.
Let's say that they're off base. Let's say that like it's not reality. They're mad that you never do any housework and you spent the whole day yesterday doing housework. Are their feelings valid?
Well, I think that's the key, is that you don't. So something that we were taught in graduate school that I think has been really valuable to me as a therapist, and it just drilled it into us over and over again when we're working with couples, is as a therapist, don't get sucked into the content and stay primarily focused on the process. So what that means is if my partner comes to me and is like, you suck at housework, you never do anything right, like da 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 da, the content is housework, never anything right. But the process is, hey, something about whatever's going on between us is really stirring up some feelings inside of you. Like the fact that you just said those things to me in the way that you said them tells me that there's some kind of emotional process going on in you.
That I would be very careful to say it that way.
I want to understand what you're going through.
But I love what you're saying, Tyler, but don't say it like as a therapist, like almost robotic like that. Right? Like, because what I mean, Tyler, what I mean is validation has to be heartfelt and it has to be sincere, right? So like if I were, let's say my wife were upset today and I was like, I can tell that you're feeling some feelings right now, and I would like to hear those feelings. Please share them with me. She's going to like give me the bird and be like, yeah, sometimes to get to validation, it's as simple as kind of taking a step back and saying something like, help me understand. Tell me more. I can tell that you're upset and I want to know more. I want to know why.
Yeah. But
Right.
see, you're ducking all the content to get there, and you're saying, hey, I can see that you're upset. Like, help me understand that.
Yeah. To your point there, like just like what you were saying, like we get so fixated, but the reason we fixate on the content is because the content is the thing that triggers the shame. And so that's why we get fixated on the content. And if you don't take it personal and you realize this is not about logic and reason, this is about emotion. And if it's about their emotion, and like the truth is it, their emotion, their energy that they have about something is absolutely valid, even if it's off base, because it's real to them. It's valid to them. So it's valid.
Yeah.
So
it's
they could be
experience.
Yeah, they could be extremely upset that the sky is, purple. And like you can stop and say, whoa, like help me understand. The content is the color of the sky. The emotion is they're extremely upset. We need to go after that emotion, and we need to show them that we care about the way that they view the world, that we care why they're having those emotions, not that they shouldn't have those emotions.
You care about them as a person, you care about why they're having the emotions, and you care about showing that you want to understand.
Or, yes, that I have the energy and the love in my heart to care about you. And so you might,
The truth is, Brannon, about that, like if you were to approach it with that piece, that's the piece that gets left out so often. The likelihood of then being able to continue the conversation with, I'm not sure that this topic is exactly accurate because I spent 12 hours cleaning the house yesterday. But that's not the issue. The issue is that you're feeling devalued, or you're feeling unsupported, or you're feeling this or this or this. And let's figure that one out. Let's forget about talking about the housework and let's talk about how we can show value.
Yeah, I mean, you're like done, like you're feeling depleted, and that's like, God. And the validation piece, like you could kind of hear me getting there just by going like, God, like that's tough.
Yeah.
Or I'd feel that way too if that's how, if that's what was going on for me. Right.
I think one of the places where people break down on validation a lot is they hear the word validation and they think validation is synonymous with agreeing.
Yeah, or placating.
Yeah, and agreeing and placating are not actually what validation is.
No, very different.
You can totally disagree with somebody and still validate them.
Yeah. Yes. That and if you're placating them, then you're still in self-protection and they'll feel that from you. If you're actually validating them and caring about them, they'll feel that from you. And it's really cool, Tyler. I'm sure you've seen it quite a bit. I'm sure you've experienced it in your own life. When you get validated or when you give validation and there's that connection, that understanding that happens between two people, there's this sense of relief. There's this sense of like, oh, okay, like things are okay. You see me, you love me. We're not in a fight. Our hearts are at peace. And that happens with validation. And when true validation happens.
Yeah, where you can still end in a disagreement and still have that sort of element of like softening and peace and going, okay, like we are probably going to agree to disagree on this, but I feel understood. I feel seen.
I think this guy's blue, you think this guy's purple, but now that I understand why you see the sky as purple and why that's disappointing or scary for you, right?
Yeah.
And I can still say to me it's blue.
Yeah, it still looks blue to me, but looking at it from your perspective, I can see why it would look purple.
Yeah, and why
Right.
you have these feelings around
and
that.
it's okay that you have those feelings.
Yeah. We make it sound so easy, Tyler, in those moments. It's stuff in those little moments in life. But one of the most important things, we talk about betrayal trauma and betrayal all the time. One of the most important things that somebody can do, and one of the biggest opportunities that somebody can do to rebuild trust, is to actually learn how to do this in the right way, and validate. And it's so excruciatingly hard, but to validate the pain of the partner around the betrayal is really important. And if you're running and hiding and doing everything because you have so much shame about the things that you've done, then you're not going to rebuild trust with your partner. If you want to rebuild trust,
You're not going to be able to rebuild connection either without really seeking to feel and understand and show that you want to understand your partner.
and I was talking to someone this week, and they were like, "Yeah, it's been a couple years since it all came out, you know." And I was telling them about Paul Young, who tells that story about, after 11 years, his wife finally said, "I trust you," and he felt it from her. And with betrayal, validating their feelings one time usually isn't enough, or never is enough.
Yeah.
But validating their feelings again and again, and then, but you can have boundaries too, and I think that's one thing that's important to understand, Tyler. You won't validate them unless you have boundaries. So if they're calling you names and threatening you and this and that, you need to have boundaries so that you can validate them. If you don't have those boundaries, then you're just ripe for emotional
all
abuse.
of your shame buttons hit, and then you're going to lose your ability to hold that space. Yeah. I think that's an important thing, Brannon, to recognize that healthy boundaries are a loving way of then being able to offer your presence.
Yep.
Because, it's like if I have a partner that comes to me and is like, you suck at this and this and this, and you're a terrible person, I might be able to hold the space and be like, wow, tell me what's going on. Like something's happening here. But more likely, I'm going to have all of my parts get hit and go like, oh, I got to defend myself, or I got to hurry and get out of this, or I got to scramble, and then I'm going to lose my ability to have that validation piece.
Yep.
But if I were to then have some boundaries and say, hey, like something's obviously going on for you, I'd love to talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it if I'm going to be called names.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Like I want to hear you.
I want to hear you, but
I'm
we're
here
not
for
going to
you.
be able to go anywhere if we're going to call names. So let's take a break and then let's touch base again. I really want to understand what
If you're being violent, if you're throwing things across the room, like I can't be here for you.
But I'm still offering a way to hold space. I'm just saying that I'm not going to be able to give you my best self if this is the conditions that we want to talk.
Right.
So there's a couple things, Brannon, if you don't mind, I want to throw this out there for people just principally thinking like, okay, so what are maybe a few principles that would be a good way to exercise this idea of validation in relationships? And I want to use Thich Nhat Hanh's 4 mantras.
Ooh.
So this is something I actually saw it on a clip of Oprah a long, long time ago.
You've always been a huge Oprah fan. Just huge. You have all her favorite things.
I think somebody shared this clip with me, Brannon. But I really loved the 4 mantras because I see the principles behind them. So these are the 4 mantras that Thich Nhat Hanh says that if you want magic in your relationships, this is the way for you to help create that magic in relationships. And you can use any of these 4 mantras. Now, obviously, you'll use your own language, but it's the principle that matters. The first mantra, and he uses the word darling. Darling, I am here for you. Just to just to be acknowledged as being seen. Hey, I'm here for you. That's the first one. I see you. That's it, basic. Second one is, darling, I know that you're there, and I'm so happy that you're there. It's another way of validating that's saying, I appreciate you being for me. I get that you're for me in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, and I want you to know that I see that. That is its own form of validation. It's a way of showing gratitude, right? The third one, and this is where it gets a little bit harder, especially if you are the reason for the suffering. You step into this space, darling, I know you suffer, and I'm here for you. You know, darling, I see you in pain. Mm-hmm. I see you struggling. I see you hating me right now, and I don't blame you because of the things that have happened. And I know that there's probably not a lot I can do, but I am here. I'm here for you, and I see you. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth mantra is actually a way of connecting by asking for help. Darling, I suffer. Please help me. Darling, I'm in pain. You know, think about this. I know Brannon, like a betrayed spouse comes in, instead of going like, you hurt me and you ruined my life and you're a terrible person. But what if they came instead and were like, man, I'm having a terrible, rough day. I'm having a hard time finding love in my heart for you. I'm feeling totally gutted. I'm feeling emotionally spent. I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling a little bit hopeless. I don't know where to turn. I don't even know if you can fix it, but I just want you to know, please help me. Like, that is an invitation into connection. It's its own form of actual validation of, hey, I see you and I know that you could help me. Or I'd love for you to help me. Or maybe you can't help me, but I want you to see me.
Right. You're not attacking them. You're not trying to get that love or that validation. You're opening up to it. You know, one thing about it is, you know, asking for that, like telling them that you're suffering. I think you got to be careful with a little bit with the timing of it. Because a lot of times people will jump right to that of like, oh, you're suffering? Well, I am too. Like, let me hurry and get there. And I like how it's the fourth one. But it's the fourth one for a reason.
Yeah, well, right? And I think that's the other part of that though too, is that's a quick breakdown in communication. Is if I come to you, Brannon, like, hey, Brannon, like, man, I'm having a really rough time, man. You drank my root beer on the worst day of the summer so far. And then you're like, you think it's a rough day? You don't think I just spent the last, 10 hours mowing lawns and like that's just a breakdown in validation already. If right. I'm the one coming to you and offering this bid and say, dude, like, I'm struggling, man. Like, that root beer was the only thing getting me through the day. Like, and you can then go like, oh man, like, I was just playing a joke on you, trying to have some fun, man. I'm sorry.
But even that is fixing it. Like, I wouldn't even go there yet. I'd be like, man, you seem pretty pissed. And you'd be like, yeah, I am. I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably be pissed too. Like, honestly, like, I'm trying to play a joke, but it's probably not a funny joke. And
it was funny for you too.
And I'd be pissed too, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand, and you're like, okay, yeah. If I would have done that, it would have been probably much different. Right. And then I drive straight to Maverick and get you a drink, I want to, this whole concept of validation, I want to give two kind of contexts for it that are interesting for people to explore. If you can't do it with your angry spouse, that's like doing it with your angry spouse is like you're on the highest level.
That's like the major leagues.
Yeah, you're like in the octagon in the UFC. I mean, it's the big time leagues, doing it with your spouse. But everyone should strive to do it and do it well with their spouse. A great place to practice is with your children. Your children oftentimes have emotions that are irrational, and they freak out about things that don't make much sense. And as parents, our knee-jerk reaction a lot of times is,
suck it up.
It's not that big a deal. Or look, like, do this instead. Or try. So we fix it, we minimize it, and they are having a massive emotion about like a toy being stolen from them. And as an adult, we look at that and we're like, seriously? Like, who cares? They're having a massive emotion. So try to validate them. So get on their level. So kneel down if you need to. Look at them so that they know you're feeling them, that you're feeling it with them. And just be like, oh, what's going on? Wow, what's that like for you? Paul, you seem pretty upset. I can see why you're upset. It makes sense to me now why you're upset. Well, they stole my toy and I never get it. Yeah, and watch what happens with that child when you just go validate them. Feel that relief feeling that will happen. I promise you it'll happen. It's incredible because they're like, oh, I'm loved in this moment. Now we're not fixing it yet. We're not dealing with the other kid that stole the toy yet or whatever. We're just in this moment with them. And let's say they hit the kid because they got their toy stolen. I'm not punishing yet. I'm not saying here's your consequence for hitting. I'm just stopping and saying you're upset. And just practice there with your children. You have opportunity. They have so much emotion going on all the time. And teenagers, young kids, you have a ton of opportunity to practice. The second context that I would encourage you to practice with is within yourself. I brought this up at the beginning. And we do this in parts work a lot. Let's say you get really upset and you start doing something let's say you're swearing at the guy in the lane next to you while you're driving. Okay. You can stop for a minute and say, whoa, I'm going to notice like, wow, I'm pretty mad. There's a part inside of me that wants to like swear. It makes sense why I want to swear at this guy. So you can hear me doing it already. It makes sense why I want to swear at this guy. It's in fact, it's okay that I want to. But you know what? Like now that I know that and I see why I want to, and I acknowledge my feelings and I validate my feelings to myself, I can then be like, but you know what? Like I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to have a bad day because of this. So I'm going to bring another part in, but I have to validate that angry part first before I can move on to bring that other part in.
Yeah.
So within myself, I can be like, it's okay. You're okay. Anybody would feel that way. And there's a reason why you have this part that's protecting you, that's there for you right now. That's all right. Now I'm going to acknowledge that and move on. So to your children and within yourself, practice there. And then when you step into the big leagues, when you go home at night,
you strengthen the muscles.
And that spouse is just like ready to go. You can be like, okay, well, I'm not going to take that personal. I'm going to listen. I'm going to care. I'm going to hold space and I'm going to validate.
Yeah. And I think, Brannon, going along with what you're saying, just another thought here, that emotions come and go and they move. And one of the best ways to move an emotion is to validate it. The minute an emotion gets validated, it starts to subside.
Yep.
It can't help but subside because it's cropping up, screaming for attention. And the minute it gets the proper attention, it starts to go, oh, okay, I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Limbic starts to slow down and you're fine.
You'll see that in people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. You know, if someone you see something at the counter at the return counter at Walmart, and there's some irate customer. If you get a really good customer service person, all they have to do is be like, "Oh man, what a pain! You had to come back in here. Sorry about that. You know, we're here for you. We're going to make sure you get taken care of." Like instantly, that person's face starts to go, ugh.
Yeah, just that little statement. What a pain to have to come back in here.
They're going to be more of a jerk if they keep going at the pattern that they're going. Whereas if the guy behind the counter is like, get off my effing back, like, gosh,
yeah,
that response is going to continue to amplify until it gets validated.
Right.
So validation is a really good way of helping to regulate emotion.
It's a superpower in life. Like it truly is. Validation helps you create and choose and respond, not react, but it helps you create love. And that's the best thing about it. When you know how to do it, then you can create connection.
Yep. Yeah. Well, good discussion today, Brannon. Love to hear people's thoughts on this. We could probably cover it. I'm thinking of, we don't have time for it today, but I'm thinking of the 6 levels of validation from DBT. People can look those up, or maybe we'll do another podcast episode in the future on those. But it truly is a superpower in relationships. If you want to improve your communication skills, go commit yourself to mastering the art of validation and watch what happens to your relationships.
Yep. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for listening. Again, if you want to be guests on the show, therapybrothers.org. And you can click on there, submit a question, and you can come on. And until next time, keep on keeping on.